Welcome back, everyone. I'm Felix, and I am reacting to Kabir considers visits NASA Space Center Houston. I cannot read right now. I am so tired. I thought I had some energy, and just now, just like, nah, we're good. But this part of his series, British Guy Goes to Texas. I reacted to one of his videos. He was at the gun range. He had a blast doing that. I reacted to it out of order because this one's actually first. The gun range was actually a second video, and then there's two more videos. So I was going to react to all four of them, see how excited he was to be down there. All right, let's see how his NASA visit went. So 3, 2, 1, let's blast off, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
To the NASA Space Center in Houston. Cannot believe I'm here. It is a super hot day, but I'm super excited, man. Like I'm a massive space fan, like a lot of you guys might know who follow the channel for a while. Love anything to do with outer space. So
there's that guy right there. He looked like he was trying to move out of the camera, and everywhere he turned, he had the guy in the camera.
It's gonna be awesome, man. Just look at all of the. I'm gonna try and find some spaceships. Hold on a second. Like, guys, man, I really can't overestimate like how cool this is for me right now. You know, anybody that's watched like the old space launches with the shuttle, it's always like, Houston, we have a problem. So just being in Houston, like, forget about being like here, just being in Houston is so cool. But like, you know, to actually be in the NASA Space Center in Houston is just awesome. Like, so that's a life-size shuttle. I mean, it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. Like, for some reason, I thought that this would be way smaller than this, but I suppose it needs to have enough space for, what, the 8 astronauts? Or is it 4? I think it's 4 astronauts. But yeah, so cool. I don't know why I'm taking a selfie video of me, you know, with all of this in the background, but I hope you guys can see how excited I am, man. I know the lighting's pretty bad in here, but yeah, it's just such a cool place to be.
Your team's problems are becoming more complex, but with Lucid, you can collaborate from anywhere.
I don't think this is a life-size replica, like, of the rover. No, it's definitely not. I think this is probably like 4 times the size of it.
No, that might be actual size, because those things are pretty big. Is that the rover? But yeah, those things are way bigger than you think. I thought that was like a landing shuttle. Or is that what the rover used to land on? Is that the one went to Mars? Anyways. But yeah, I think that's actual size. And I really want to go to this. I would love to go down there and see all this. I used to love space stuff. I just got away from it. Maybe I should get back into it.
But I could be wrong, to be fair. I mean, nah, I don't think this is a replica size. Simulator rides, $10. I would have thought that would have came with the ticket, but who knows. This is really cool. So this basically is like a graphic that shows the Earth and the distances of the other celestial bodies. So like the moon is 283,000 miles from us. And then Mars is 225 million kilometers. That's crazy. I mean, that puts it into perspective. So, you know, 225 million kilometers from Earth. And then you've got Europa, which is, wow, over half a billion kilometers. Jupiter's massive. Like, you can't even get the whole of it in the in this graphic here. And then you got Titan, over a billion, and then you got Saturn. Yeah, pretty crazy. What is the bottom? Wow.
Oh,
United States Laboratory Module. So I'm getting.
That was interesting. He went to talk about the bottom and then cut it out. Oh, felt like something bit me on my leg. I wonder if something happened. Maybe someone said, "You can't record that."
Guessing this is like the section of the International Space Station where they like conduct experiments and stuff. Yeah, this is pretty sweet, to be fair. So that's what the ISS must look like on the inside of the US module.
Wires.
So this is all the stuff that they've experimented on and everything. It's pretty cool. Guys, do you think it's too late for me to become an astronaut? Do you reckon they have any apprenticeships for NASA astronauts? Should I start taking the exams? Just got a ticket for the tram tour, or 2 tram tours. No idea what to expect. Mission control.
Test the effects of low Earth orbit's environment on components of radiation shielding and protection materials.
ISS updates. Stay current on International Space Station activities, the crew's daily work, research, and key milestones.
Mission 20 includes 11 experiments and samples, which will be retrieved from the Missy platform after months on the exterior of the space station.
Wow.
These samples will further our understanding of how various materials respond to ultraviolet radiation.
Super interesting. I think there's a live stream of the of Earth from the International Space Station that like runs like constantly, like 24 hours a day, which I think is really interesting. Like just to be able to see the Earth from the perspective of the ISS, you know, you get to see the rotation of it, you know, the curvature of the Earth. I suppose the another sort of like benefit of that is like, you know, people like the flat earthers who say that the Earth is flat. I guess this kind of like disproves that, because I just don't get personally, you know, the whole concept of the Earth being flat. Like, where does that even come from? Like, you know.
Yeah, flat earthers come from people who are uneducated. That's where that comes from.
The Earth clearly is round, isn't it? I mean, we've seen it.
What do you mean?
Like, we know it's round. Wow, look at this guy. Robonaut astronaut helper. What does it say? Robonaut is an astronaut that is designed to use the same tools and do the same work as an astronaut. Robonaut can work on the International Space Station and could help explore the moon and Mars in the future. Robonaut was tested on the ISS and returned to Earth. An upgraded version of the robot will join the crew soon on the station. Wow, so it's actually tested. I didn't realize.
You see it had the GM logo on it? The GM helped make that?
I thought this was just still in R&D.
They just
like, they were still designed.
Or did they just invest in it? Because sometimes companies will invest in it so they can put their name on it. So I'm kind of wondering, did they actually help with it, or did they just invest in it?
Really, really cool that they're going to use robots. To be fair, like, I do think we should, you know, because robots don't need food, you know, they don't need to sleep. They can just keep on working, right? You know, they can just keep doing science, you know. So it's 200.
Well, that yawn hit me out of nowhere. Man, wasn't expecting that. My eyes are watered. Oh, my God. Oh, give me a sec. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I don't know where that yawn came from.
40 pounds. Wow. Pretty big dude. So this is what an astronaut sleeps in. Crazy. So they lie. Oh, yeah, because there's no gravity. So they sleep lying upwards as if they were standing up. That's so weird. I suppose because there's no gravity, is there any sense of like up and down? You know, like what is up and what is down, if you know what I mean? Because you can float, can't you? So this is a toilet. Wow. That is so weird. Or as they call it, a waste management system.
You know, it's like a vacuum. It has to be like a vacuum, because if you just pee in it, it's just going to sit there. So it has to actually suck it in. So you think anyone's used it for that? I'm sure someone has. As many people have been up there, I'm sure one of them has either thought about it or has.
But where do they, so what do they number 1 and number 2 down this yellow little cap?
You got to hold it.
The gift store. I'm like a kid in a candy.
Could you imagine if they now the one like you sit down on it, but then that you hold to the front. But if you had to hold that to the back, like hold it back there, I'm like, there's no way, because I would probably get a muscle spasm or something, jerk, and then there's poo everywhere.
There's just so much memorabilia. I could easily spend like $500 in here if I'm not careful. But
I don't know about
I'm on a
that.
tight budget, so I'm going to watch my expenditure, or at least I'm going to try.
God, my mind's in together. When he's spun past his space shuttle keychains, I'm not going back to it, but it was... hold on. Let me get my mind off together. Okay. NASA space. Okay, let's go.
This is Pod 5, the first fully immersive sleep system. Intelligent, adaptive.
And this is the food court here at the NASA Johnson Space Center in Houston. Let's see what options they have. I'm trying to find a menu. Seems pretty cool. I love the decor at least. You've got like this massive like space montage thing. I just love all the space like imagery. I know that's what you would expect, you know, here at NASA, but it's just cool to see, you know, like look at this. Imagine having this on your wall. Just, I could stare at this kind of stuff all day.
I used to have stuff kind of like, there's not pictures of the astronauts, but I had a bunch of space stuff, names of the celestial bodies and all that stuff hanging on my wall. I miss all that stuff. But I was just thinking, if NASA, you know, all the money they spent for NASA, if they had just went to tourist route with that stuff, like build a base on the moon and fly tourists to it. Of course, you have to go through a training course and all that, but they probably could have made billions off of it. You know how many people would pay to fly into space and come back?
Annoyingly, I missed the kitchen by like 10 minutes. So I'm going to have to stick with the grab and go food, which isn't too bad. In line for the tram tour. Let's go. I mean, I love that. Look at the imagery on that. Just with the American flag behind the astronaut and the big NASA logo. I'm fanboying over here, genuinely. I can't get enough of this kind of stuff. Ready to get on the bus. Let's go. Guys, as I'm sitting on this bus, it is so warm. It's got to be like 30 degrees out here. Celsius, that is.
What's funny is I was watching, I want to say she was British too, and she made a mistake. Her mistake was she thought she could withstand the heat and she got sunstroke. So, yeah, she was turning red and out of energy and not feeling too well. So, yeah, so if you're not used to this kind of heat, this kind of weather, it can be bad for you. So you got to be careful. I knew a guy who got sun poisoning, and he came back. I got to work, and I walk in, and he turns around. I'm like, oh, my God, what happened? His face was just swollen. I was like, I would have stayed home. Overall, he felt fine. It's just he had sun poisoning. It caused his face to swell up. He was in the sun too much.
Which is like...
Oh, and it affects white people more than most other people, just in case you're wondering.
85 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. And we are moving.
States. JSC has been leading the nation in human spaceflight operations for over 60 years.
Wow.
JSC is comprised of 1,620 acres of land. Believe it or not, NASA was able to purchase all this land for the incredible price of just $25 back in 1962.
25
How did we get that amazing?
Even in 1962, that doesn't seem right. I want to know what they did to get that land.
Bargain, though. Well, Rice University's Longhorns. That's right. Only at Johnson Space Center can you see rockets and prize-winning Texas Longhorns all in one place.
I think that's where they built the...
I think she was saying, but I couldn't understand what she said.
Project.
Saturn
This
V.
project was spearheaded by former Center Director George Abbey. This served as a way for NASA to give back to the local community. As a wildlife sanctuary, a variety of different animals call this coastal prairie land their home. In fact, as we drive through the JSC campus today, keep an eye out for some white-tailed deer.
Wow, liquid nitrogen. That shit is explosive.
Honestly, if that's real liquid nitrogen, I'm surprised they let people get that close to it, to be honest with you. I mean, hopefully those containers are thick, because it wouldn't take much to set that stuff off.
Aero program. This includes a simulated closed habitat that helps NASA researchers analyze the effects of long-term space missions
Love
on
that.
human behavior, health, and performance. As we return to Space Center Houston, we'll be making a brief stop at the George W.S. Abbey Rocket Park, where more space history awaits. This stop is optional. Inside the building, you'll find the biggest celebrity rocket here, the Saturn V. This rocket is one of only 3 left in the entire world. Particularly, the Saturn V rocket at Johnson Space Center is comprised of flight-certified hardware for the 3 Captain Apollo missions.
Like, it's just so much bigger. It's impossible to get me and the ship in the same frame. Like, I have to literally go on the grass, I guess. Like, it's just so big.
I wonder if he's just using his phone. He doesn't have a camera.
Wow. This one's pretty cool as well. I'm not sure which one this is. Oh, it says it right here. Well, duh, Kabir. Like, of course there's going to be a sign on it.
Is he by himself here? Because in the other one, he has someone with him. So I was just wondering if he was by himself here. Do not climb.
So it's the Mercury Red...
The fact that people don't understand, you don't get to touch and climb on everything.
The first Americans in space. Wow. So is this the first American spaceship that went to space?
Oh, post.
Wow. Look at the size of the engine. It is literally bigger than a lot of cars, I'd say. Look how big this Saturn V is. I mean, it's hard to put into words how big it is. You have to literally be next to it to like get an idea. It is
kid was trying to get the
massive.
frame.
I genuinely think this is about the same size as the plane that brought me here from London. Like, it is enormous, guys. It is so big. I wonder how many times I've said the word big in this video so far. Saturn V rocket. Most powerful rocket in space. This thing is f***ing huge. So NASA built the...
If you missed it, he put it on the screen. That's what she said.
Saturn V rocket to send astronauts to the moon. A heavy lift vehicle, Saturn V could lift the equivalent of about 10 school buses into orbit. The Saturn V launched manned Apollo program missions from 1968 through 1972. It was also used in the 1973 to launch Skylab, the first American space station. Wow. To carry 3 astronauts. So all of this was to carry 3 astronauts. That's insane. I thought the crew would be a lot bigger than 3.
Now they're all housed in the 3rd section, which is pretty small, actually, from what I remember. So it's the 3-stage. Stage 1 is the main launch. Stage 2 is when they're outside the Earth orbit. And stage 3 carries them the rest of the way, if I remember correctly. And then I believe it separates again when it goes to land on the moon, like just this part. And then this stays in orbit and it comes back there. I can't remember, it's been so long. Because it lands on the moon and then it takes off and then they land on Earth.
I thought the crew would be like 8 instead of 3, but because like this, all of this to carry 3 people.
Hey everyone, Ryan from Hank's Belts here. Hey, I just wanted to show you real quick 2 of my favorite belts in the line. Montana Bison belt.
To the moon. I mean, this thing, and it was one and done. Like, you know, you use it once and that's it. It's not like SpaceX where they're reusable. So the expense to send these 3 astronauts to the moon must have been enormous. I mean, like, how do they even, like, look at how intricate all of the wires and the cabling and all the pipe work and everything.
I think that's where the whole idea of spaceships having all the stuff on the outside of them comes from, is this. Because when you think of whenever someone draws a spaceship, it always has a bunch of stuff on the outside of it. That's probably where it comes from.
The thing is, in this engine, you know, it just looks so intricate. And all of it has to work for the ship to work. Like, you see what I mean? Like, just, there's like, we're looking at about probably hundreds of pipes. I just don't know how they even designed this. Because they designed this, what, in the 60s? Man, I really applaud, you know, the scientists of those days, because they didn't have I mean, they had computers, but nothing like we have today. And they went to the moon, and we haven't been back to the moon. Look at this. Look how big this cavity is. So this is like a hollowed out Saturn V. I mean, look at that guy's head for scale. Big. Seeing this in the flesh makes me think about how much money and time and effort it must have cost to build something like this. You know, not just because of the actual size of it, but the amount of science that went into this thing. Like, this thing probably had like hundreds, if not thousands, of the smartest people working on it. You know, just to send 3 people into space. And I'm saying just, you know, as if that's like some small thing, but, you know, I'm thinking in today's money, this must have cost billions and billions of dollars. You know, money well spent, in my opinion.
In 2017. With this technology, we can send our astronauts up into space more frequently and at a much lower cost. This will become especially important as we establish an orbiting lunar science station and an outpost on the surface of the moon over the next 20 years. Next to the Falcon 9, you can see a mock-up of the space shuttle.
I think the space shuttle was designed in the 70s, 60s or 70s, actually. It's old. And it really hasn't been updated. Even the computers in it haven't been updated. They were supposed to retire it. I don't understand why they never built a new one. It never made sense to me.
And it's on top of the real Boeing 747 short carrier.
Wow. This might just be the most impressive thing I've seen so far here. I mean, the Saturn V was hard to beat. Look at this, the actual space shuttle that went into space.
Actual 747.
Oh, are they inside it?
Enterprise. John Kuiper's vision and
Oh, it's a museum. They're inside it. I want to go now. I want to go inside the space shuttle. I feel like a kid. I want to go. My wife been wanting to go on a trip. There's a trip.
Followed by years of sheer hard work.
Oh no, they're on the plane. But it had something you could connect it to the space shuttle.
Money and time, a lot of other things like that became a factor. So they decided to take the engines off and to have more room for payload. So then the problem became one of trying to get the orbiter from California to the Cape. And then after
It's one of the strangest sights in the world. When they're outside on spacewalks, also means speed tracking. Things will float away if you don't have each other. Of course, space.
I think he's in the shuttle now. Yeah, I think that's the space shuttle. I really do feel like a kid. I used to love this stuff. International Space Station. What was the Russian space station called? Was that Mir? I can't remember what that was called. I think that was Mir. all the different badges made for each mission.
Sorry guys, I know it's super dark in here, but yeah, this has really been definitely one of the funnest things I've done in a long time. I mean, just look at everything around here. There's just so much. I suppose because of the massive history of NASA and all they've done in terms of spaceflight, they've accumulated so much hardware. Like, you know, this is all stuff that's, you know, been into space before. Like, they've just got so much of it that they've displayed
Hey, that's my motivation, get in shape. Get in shape so I can go into space.
out here. And I think it's amazing because obviously most of us aren't going to get to go to space. So like this is like the closest we're going to get, but it's brilliant seeing so many artifacts like this that have actually been out there. I think it's brilliant.
Okay. That was interesting. Wow. I want to go now more than ever. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and everyone take care. Later.